tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Welcome to BLM Community, more than just a hashtag. I'm your host, Shaka Smith, and I'm joined by my panelists. This is a show about race and inequality, and we've got some wonderful panelists today. We've got two-time Emmy winner and creator of Ghostwriters TV, Jackie Fern. We've got editor-in-chief of Afro-Vegan Beauty and licensed cosmetologist, Carrie Neek. And we've got model and creator of Soul Sessions, Obigelyaku Asiano. Thank you guys for joining me once again. We had a great conversation last time and just really wanted to continue the conversation. So much has already happened. We got the breaking news that the other officers were charged. That is Thomas Linnell, Tu Tao, and J. Alexander Kung were finally charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. The charge was upgraded for Derek Chauvin to second-degree murder, felony second-degree murder. What are your thoughts? How are you guys feeling about that? Is this going to be helpful for the movement?
Hell yeah. I'm so excited about this. Go ahead.
I mean, energy-wise, it just, it uplifts, it gives us this teeny bit more of hope that justice is going to be served, or justice will now be looked at as a forefront versus just passing them off, letting them off. So this is just beautiful, and it's very much needed, especially during these times.
I hate that we had to do this though.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think now that I'm kind of soaking in the news a little more, because I'm from Chicago originally. I've been in LA for about 5 years, and my city's response to the violence for the protesting for this is we're turning on each other, and that's what we're known for. We're known for our gang activity. We're known for the violence in our city, and so it's really kind of made the Hispanics turn on the Blacks. And now that's a thing all its own. Now I'm going home tomorrow. I'm like, what is going on now? And it's all been ignited kind of, even further than it originally is because of this. We have to do all of this to get that kind of justice, and it doesn't add up.
Yeah. And my background.
When I read this. Go ahead. Oh no, you go ahead, Shaka.
I was just going to say, for my background as an attorney, I want to make sure we keep this energy up to conviction, because, charges are just charges. We don't have conviction yet. How about you, Jackie?
For me, when I read this news, I was truly overjoyed because it feels like police officers are finally being held accountable, and the trickle-down effect of that will really resonate with different police forces throughout the entire country and maybe be the catalyst for police reform. And more so yesterday, and actually maybe yesterday and 2 days ago, a link started going viral. It's a link that I've shared throughout all of my platforms where if you click on it, it automatically generates a fully drafted email that goes to the Minneapolis Police Department and the Minneapolis Union, different factions like that, demanding that the 3 other officers be charged and taken into custody, right? And big influencers like Gigi Hadid were all sharing this too. And then within 24 hours, this news happened this morning. And yes, it's a small victory, but it feels like, oh my goodness, if we're really able to pressure a system so much and actually result in charges, wow, this is like, when you're on a diet and you have a 100-pound goal weight loss or something, and you're slowly losing weight here and there, this kind of feels like that, like small little victories here and there that encourage you to keep going when the police keep putting more restrictions on protesting and how to make change,
Yeah, that's actually encouraging, but I'm almost worried. I wish it didn't take like an automatically generated letter. I wish we could really be active and write these letters, but I'll take it any way we can get it right now. But man, it's a 50-50 there. But I got to talk a little bit about performative activism as well. That was sort of in the news. Yesterday was Blackout Tuesday. And of course, I got so many mixed messages on Blackout Tuesday. First, it was a music industry thing. Then we're doing it worldwide. Then it's like, let's not do Black Lives Matter. Let's do a different hashtag. But people were also getting accused of just throwing it up there just as a way to look like part of the group and not authentically wanting to engage in activism. My question to you guys is, does that help the movement or hurt the movement? Because is it possible that even performative activism can be helpful?
I feel like Black people were frustrating me yesterday because no one was doing any research before they decided to be involved in that protest. Nobody was looking up the origin of it, figuring out why the strategy was implemented and who created it. They just wanted to ride a wave, some people, it seemed, under the umbrella of the idea of solidarity. Like, well, at least we're all doing it together and they can see our numbers. And can't you see, look at us, we have all these numbers. It's like, but you're missing the mark because we're not unified. We have vision, but we don't have clarity on the vision before we start behaving in different directions. So it just seemed like it was spiraling out of control. We weren't able to access certain information online because now we got all these black squares. It just didn't make any sense. If we were going to black out someone's message, if we were going to silence a voice, tag a company, hashtag something that, that community needs to find and needs to see, not us. I just felt like it was a little misguided, and I don't know if it did what it was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I sat on a live and I was kind of in the middle, right? Because I felt that there was something underlying. I felt there was something negative with it, that it wasn't, what was it going to do? What was one day of blacking out going to do with this perpetual need for a change? Now, if you're saying take 3 to 6 months to black out, like you said, a company or, the police department or anything of that nature, then I can see that. Or we take 3 to 6 months to not buy something or not do something, then that's fine. But I was having such a hard time. And I wanted to black out to start my page from what I had before to things for Black Lives Matter and just positive energy to help uplift. So it ended up having to coincide, and I decided to do both. I was like, okay, I'll black out for the solidarity based on what I did know its origin in the music industry and wanting to stop putting attention on the everyday, whatever you're doing every day. Now focus on educating, on putting up what's the most important. And then after that, I felt like people, even though it blacked out Black Lives Matter, the hashtag, people started to understand that that's not what we're supposed to do. This is the route that we're supposed to be taking. And it started to shake people up and started to make people pay attention to what was needed. But it was very misunderstanding. I would have loved a video from creators. I would have loved something that gave direction, like, hey, this video, and now do this action based off this reason. And this is what we're trying to accomplish. So.
And don't just do it for a day. If we're gonna be about that life, we gotta do it. We needed to do that consistently, and then maybe the hashtag changes so that the attention can change to another facet of this fucked up situation. Like we just needed to be a little more mobilized and strategized.
See, my view was I actually felt a feeling of like, oh my God, so many people are in on this movement. Even if someone posted it just to post it, they still took the time to think of that. And there's some people who are unwilling to post it at all because that's just not their heart. And so I still appreciated seeing it. But the greater question, I think we were talking about this earlier, Jackie, is we saw the one viral video of the girl that kind of looked like she was taking a picture with a small business owner and or trying to help board up some, do something for the Black Lives Matter cause. And then, she takes a quick picture, runs in the car, and she goes and says, Black Lives Matter. That performative activism really got railed online, of course. Is there any benefit to it, though, when someone like that still posts online and that message is amplified, even if the activism isn't what we're used to? Is that a new form of activism that is still just as valid?
So it's interesting, when that video came out, it definitely went viral. I mean, even Ava DuVernay tweeted it, and the amount of disgust was really visceral, seeing this white passing woman, I don't know what her ethnicity is, but this white woman go up to a man trying to board up a building that's been destroyed, and then taking a picture for her Instagram, then makes a joke, this is my Instagram boyfriend, Black Lives Matter, BLM, thank you. And doesn't help, isn't trying to advance the cause, isn't trying to check her own privilege. You can tell from that video, it reeks of privilege and entitlement, using this truly racial uprising as a photo op for your Instagram. It's sickening, right? Whereas a majority of people who tried to do Blackout Tuesday, the two women who created that, the intention was so beautiful, but it was so convoluted and confusing. And a lot of people, and it changed so fast, like out minute to minute. It was like a meme perfectly explained it. Post a black square, solidarity. All the black leaders saying, don't do that. Remove Black Lives Matter post, solidarity. Like, you know what I mean? It was so confusing, but I think it brought up a lot of great questions of, if you posted that black square, did you donate? Did you share resources on how to help, how to educate yourself, how to be a better ally? And whenever there are big social movements like this, there's always confusion in the ranks of like, what is our message? Like you were saying, we have a vision, but there's no clarity. And right now, since we have no effing leader in the White House, everyone's desperate for a leader. Tell me what to do. What should we do? I want to help. What should I do? And exacerbated by the fact that we're at home, jobless, no school, no sports. People want to know what to do and who is going to really tell us, right? And we saw that confusion and mess around with that Blackout Tuesday.
Is there a way to reach someone though, like that girl that did that performative activism? Because if it was genuine, I have to believe that she doesn't realize that she's not helping, right? Is there a way that we can reach someone like that who wants to be involved enough to at least go down and drive and take a picture? Is there a way to say, look, you're not helping, but here's how you can?
She got to figure it out. We can't give these people the keys. We can't give these people the keys. Like, we've had to figure out this system and how to navigate it. You got to fucking figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I had someone who I was going on a back and forth, and you know, I have all this energy that I need to be putting elsewhere. So I kind of was thinking like, why am I still sitting in this back and forth with this person? But eventually he did see the lights, right? And he was just like, you know what, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Thank you for taking the time to not go all the way left with me in regards to your response. I know this is a difficult time. And so I totally feel the same way. And like, our entire life, we've had to figure it out. But that moment with that gentleman, that person, did teach me that, okay, if I reach out and there's this energy, there's this feeling and there's responses that I think they're going to change. I think they're willing and open to see how they can help and how they can be more educated, then go towards it. I felt that with him because he was saying some valid things, and again, it wasn't derogatory, it wasn't bashing, but you have to pick and choose. A lot, I would say no, but there are some people who want to learn. There are some people who just don't know, and if there are people that just put up the square and nothing else, for me, I washed that out of my social media. Like anyone who just did one and didn't do the other, you definitely just did it for the looks. You definitely just did it just so you can be a part, or not to be chastised. You know, some people just put it like, don't come and attack me so I can go ahead and live my life while we're still over here dying, you know? So but then there were ones who put up the square and nothing else, and then said, how are you doing? And I said, well, you know, let me tell you really how I'm doing, and then I'm going to speak on your just black square. And they were like, oh, I don't know what to put up, so can you please tell me? So it's a really sticky situation with that. But if someone's willing and open to learn more, then I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to teach them.
Yeah, and I love that because
I'm sorry. I just want to say I respect that. I think I'm emotional. I'm actually like, I got like 300 new followers in the past 2 days, and most of them are white, and most of them were posting the squares, and most of them were posting, you know, my account, like, you know, I'm following a black account. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting kind of weird. But I do think there's some good, like you said, in it to be found. I'm going live today with Danny DMC. She's a really big influencer with fashion model, plus size, and she's an ally, and she has all these resources. So I'm going to utilize that to kind of, you know, continue to spread awareness and get them educated.
And I don't think you're just emotional. I think you're tired, because I'm tired, because I think a lot of our allies also don't realize that we've been educating since we were born. I've been dealing with people that genuinely wanted to know more since I was like 5, and telling them, okay, don't touch my hair. This is what my hair looks like. You know, from that little thing since I was a kid. So
Yeah.
sometimes you get to adulthood and you're just tired of educating and you have to do work to sit in that space where you're willing to still educate and say, wait, I understand that you are coming from a genuine spot. But it's not always easy for us as well, even if they are coming from a genuine space too.
Yeah.
It's so problematic, and it reeks of privilege, of white privilege, that it is the responsibility of the oppressed to educate the oppressor.
Girl.
But you know what? I also think that's a natural. I think it's a natural tendency to say, okay, well, I'm willing to learn, so go ahead and teach me. But I think you have to come at it and realize we've been doing this for a while and we're tired, you know. But
Right.
we got to talk about that leadership. You brought that up, Jackie. So many things have gone viral. Of course, Trump's walk to this church and holding up this Bible as some sort of symbol of power, and of course his comments been about law and order, and he believes this is helping the country. Of course, I don't know from where I sit. I don't understand how he can possibly think that these comments are helping to heal the divide whatsoever. What are your guys' takes, and what is it? Do you think that he's thinking that this helps?
This man is so divisive. And here's the thing, he has very idiotic tendencies, but this man is no idiot. Okay. When he holds up the Bible, when he has that dog and pony show clearing out protesters with tear gas so he can have a photo op, what he's doing, it is blatant dog whistle politics, because the people who follow him, those white supremacists, know what that image means. Doesn't make sense to us. They know what that means. They know the language he's using, the rhetoric when he alludes to certain people as thugs, looters. He racializes everything, every mistake that he doesn't want to be responsible for or be culpable in any way. He racializes it, whether it's COVID-19, calling it the Chinese virus, saying looters are thugs. It's so obvious and it is so blatant, and he wants all of us to be so distracted by what is going on that we don't focus on all of his mistakes and how he has failed us as a leader, and just be in total disarray so that he can just slide into 4 more years of this disastrous BS.
So it
That's
seems
I
to be all
just
about
get
the
so
vote.
triggered. It's so obvious. I'm like,
What are your thoughts, Carrie?
I'm still too tight to talk. For real, for real. I think I don't even tune in to the president, to be honest. I think I drank for the first time in a long time when he became president, and I just stopped listening to him. And every piece of information that I get about Trump matches the same energy that we started with. Like, we knew he was crazy. He doesn't make any sense, and he's dangerous. That's a very dangerous person to have control of so many things. So I'm no longer surprised by the things that he says and the things that he does. All I can do is really focus on my community and what I can control, and getting us to vote, being more proactive, and governing ourselves. Because there's nothing to say about this man.
I obviously have the same thoughts, but I want to know, what would it look like if he were to right now say, look, I'm going to lead the proper way. What do you guys think it would look like for you for that to happen?
You need to go
What are the
home.
steps you would
Just
take?
really-
Just literally leave out the door. Like, everyone else handle the paperwork. I'm going to leave for you. I clearly don't know anything about paperwork, politics, and rules and regulations. So, and everyone will gladly handle that situation. That's what I need. I need to just literally walk out the door.
You know what? I think we say that, but that's not exactly true, because he has built around him all yes people who are advancing this agenda, right? There's something that the president, if we lived in some sort of effing fantasy world, a leader is supposed to, when the country is completely spiraling into chaos, which is what we're seeing, he's supposed to address the nation and call for peace.
Yeah.
Instead, he goes and hides in his bunker, tweeting from there when the looting starts, the shooting starts. What the hell is that? That's a call to action. You know what I mean? So instead of addressing the nation, a national address aired on every platform saying, don't do this. We're going to reform the police. It is up to me to make a difference. He's never going to say that. What he's going to do is just reinvigorate his base. And really quickly, we talk about having these tough conversations with certain people. Should we have them? Is it worth our energy? I listened to this New York Times podcast, The Daily, one time, talking about this man who was born into the KKK, the son of one of the big KKK leaders, right? And after Barack Obama won the presidency, they mobilized so quickly to infiltrate and win every state and local election, because that's how you build. And then ultimately they won the White House. The reason why we were able to get this intel from this man born into hatred, right, the son of a KKK leader, is because once he went to college, Black and Jewish leaders sat with him almost once a week for 1 year to help him unlearn his racism. And yes, that required him showing up because he thought he was going to debate and win them over, but they eventually won him over. And because of that, we are now given this glimpse into, oh, that's how they work, right? And it was because of this patience and grace from these minority leaders. And so I often think of that example when I am faced with these racist, privileged thoughts, and I just want to like egoic reaction, go, you, like, you're so stupid. And then I think, okay, well, if those like Black and Jewish leaders could sit with that KKK leader for like 1 year and turn him around, I can do it too,
I just hope that's not what it's going to take, because I feel like we're at the stage now where like things have to happen fairly immediately. So I want to talk a little bit about Biden now and his choice of vice presidential candidate. Does he have to pick a Black vice president? He's already committed to picking a female. We've got Kamala Harris, the former AG, and now Senator Kamala Harris, and we got Representative Val Demings, who seem to be leading the race. But how important is it that Biden pick a Black vice presidential candidate?
For me, I'm Nigerian, that got my citizenship 2016, and I'm so excited that I get a chance to vote. And now I've always wanted, our best shot was Hillary Clinton, but imagine Michelle Obama sitting as president. Imagine the change that we would have had with Michelle Obama. Imagine, a change, but, and this might not be the opinion that that people are for. For me, as someone who just got a chance to be able to start voting, there is a need. There's a need. I would like to see it to be a female, and be a Black female. But in regards to the two that have been chosen, I have problems with both. So who's better of the two? I still don't know as a voter. As a voter, I'm still researching. I'm still looking into who has lower problems, less of a problem than the other. But right now, I know what he needs, and I would just have to keep researching in regards to the two. But it's like picking the best of the not so good. So,
how do you feel, Carrie?
I honestly don't know a lot about either of the candidates. I just got updated with Kamala, right?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
And that's not looking like a win. I think that just because they're Black doesn't mean that they're going to be for us. It doesn't mean that they're going to fight against the things that have been holding us back for so long. There's no guarantee. And when it comes to politics, that's really like, it's a game. You know what I'm saying? So we would hope that it would be better, but there's no guarantee.
Will your motivation to vote increase or decrease if he picks a Black VP versus a white VP?
Again, I'd have to go back and do the research, because I'm interested in the messaging and the history of that person more so than I'm invested in what they look like.
And how about you, Jackie?
For me, Kamala Harris, I know a lot, every person in politics, they have to compromise, right? To get to where they are, they have to compromise. Maybe their voting records, certain things they were pressured, we don't know. But I feel like Kamala Harris is someone who is an advocate for the advancement of people of color, point blank, period. She is not only African American, she's South Asian as well. So she's Blasian. She has so much experience as Attorney General. She's woke 100%. And if she would add so much, for me, prestige and glamour to that ticket if she was the VP. And I think she would get so many more votes from the Black community and the Asian community too, right? Since she's mixed.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes we have to remember as well, Joe Biden is really old. So, VP is really important. The same argument that we have for Palin and McCain, right? It's like, why is it that the president now, this is the hardest job in the country, the most stressful, and yet people are getting this job in their effing 70s? I don't even understand it, right?
Yeah,
like, you shouldn't be that old with this high stress, powerful job. And, Biden did his 8 years. He's an ally. He says a lot of problematic things, but it's like, who am I going to vote for? Trump or this guy? This guy,
Yeah.
And so Kamala Harris, for me, I think she's a great option.
She's an ex-cop, right?
She was city and county DA. I mean, she put away a lot of African Americans. So I though there's this woke, but when people get in a certain responsibility, it's like cops that say, "Oh, I'm a cop, and I'm a good cop." But the good cops, if there are any good cops, are sitting there watching other cops kill people. So when you get into a position, I get there's these political. It's either you fight against until you can't fight anymore, or you get out that seat. So as a city and council DA, I found she had a position, she had an ability to help. She had an ability to be that shield for African Americans. So to have put away so many, I'm like, I can't. That's one of my qualms with her, Cindy, because like you said, Biden is old. Who I need to see who's going to be sitting in the presidential seat. I don't trust in that factor. And that's the same thing with Val Demings. Now I'm saying,
Val Demings is the former chief of police.
She bleeds blue, and she had her situations where there were people in her precinct that, tried to pay off on the side. A whole case about a veteran being killed by a police officer, where the first thing should have been, you're fired, you're jailed, or you're going to trial and you're getting charged and so on and so forth. So for both of them being African American and having so many stories and so many attacks on their list of against us, even though I can't balance that.
So does Stacey Abrams appeal to you?
Stacey Abrams does appeal to me. Yes, she's green. Yes, but she was close to governorship. She was backed by Bernie. The less tainted, right? So for me, I would say Stacey Abrams if that's a running.
Yeah, and Kiori, I'll ask you: are you a Biden 2020 regardless, or are you voting wise? If you feel comfortable sharing here.
I do believe voting is very important. And I'm all for the theory of anybody but this clown.
I think you're in good company.
That's all I got.
And how about you, Obi? Is this for you a Biden 2020 regardless, or you still need to look at what's going to happen to determine your vote?
Biden 2020 regardless. Don't trust. I need more research. I can't truthfully say. I mean, I'm going to vote, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to vote regardless. You know what? I'm going to vote regardless. That's my stance for now. Research on who and why, that's later, but I'm voting regardless.
And Jackie, you seem all in on Biden.
You know what? It's but okay, it's not because of Biden. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be exercising my right to vote. It would be a shame if people are upset and protesting in the street and not using their real power where it counts because they don't like the candidate, right?
Yeah.
But voting for Biden is voting for the Democratic Party,
Yeah.
right? And it's like the former president Barack Obama said, we have to vote not only at the federal level, it really starts at your local, state elections. Your mayor is the one who appoints your chief of police, things like that, right? And for me, I think a lot of people, there's so many jokes about it too. The shirts are like settle for Biden, because it's like Dave Chappelle says, what are you gonna pick? Are you not gonna vote? Are you gonna be that idiot that just doesn't vote and wastes their civic duty and waste this amazing privilege that so many people have fought for because you don't like the candidate? Think about which party do you align with best, which belief system? Because if you are going to complain about Trump for the next 4 years and your ass didn't vote, then you can just shut the fuck up. Oh shoot, that's a lot of cursing.
Cosign. And in breaking 2020 news, which you never expected to hear, Defense Secretary Mark Esper came out and said he does not support the use of military troops on civilians. Trump wants to use the Insurgency Act to go ahead and use the military on civilians, and the Defense Secretary had to come out and say he doesn't support that, and the world is waiting to see if he resigns or is fired. What did you guys feel about the military presence that changed over the last couple of days? I know here in LA, all of a sudden you walk down and there was a National Guard out in force. What do you guys feel about that? How did that change the tenor for you?
I'm heartbroken. I've seen so many different images of children with these guns bigger than them pointed at them. It's just gotten so ridiculous. And I just keep checking on people, anyone that wants to protest and be out in these streets. And now we got this curfew that just seems like they only give us this curfew 45 minutes before they need us to be in the house, which is the dumbest shit ever. It feels like a setup. I feel like this was super intentional, and I'm just watching.
And LA gets moved up the same day, 6 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah. How you gonna tell me in 20 minutes I gotta be at home?
Yeah.
And only in the affluent neighborhoods, a 1 p.m. curfew for Beverly Hills and Santa Monica. Get the F out of here. Come on.
Is it 1 p.m.?
1 p.m.
That everybody has to be in the house?
Yeah.
Except white people. People who live in Beverly Hills are able to walk freely from their house. This is 4 people out there.
I drive my mom to and fro from work, and I literally had palpitations because, I'm going to be on the road during curfew. And she had a letter from her hospital saying that she could be out as an essential worker. And then I told her to write on top of that letter that I was a daughter of an essential worker, that I'm driving her at these times. And then I made copies, and I put one here on the side of several copies in my glove department box and one in my bra. I know it sounds insane. I know it sounds extra, but I mean, everything that's going on right now is like the movies, right? So my actions are like the movies. Be extra just in case. I don't want to be caught without this or any reason for them to say, oh, we killed her because she didn't have proper paperwork. Or even with my proper paperwork, they can still do anything that they want to do. So that kleptocrat called 45 in there doesn't care about us. He's putting out this militia so that he can do what he's been trying to do with coronavirus, that lack of support and lack of medical safety with coronavirus and everything else he's been doing since he's seated there. Since before he got into the presidential seat, he's been working into this. So I'm scared for this militia action. I'm scared for the protesters that are out there. We've had protesters have died since all of this has started, and it has to stop, or it's just, if people are back against the wall, it's going to be head to head, and it's scary. It's yeah.
I want to. What were you going to say, Jackie?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, we're at this really fragile moment. We're at this precipice of two different outcomes, right? Either we're going to win and there's going to be actual change, or we're one step towards a fascism a fascist society. The way that he's implementing the National Guard, it's very much one step towards martial law, right? And the way you see certain images from protesters, boots on the ground, where they're being set up with bricks, government, they're laying out bricks so that the protesters can destroy buildings, when it's like they're putting weapons there for us to use, right? And I just really feel like we all need to realize and remember history. Like, this is how this happens when you have this person with this insurmountable amount of power, who wants to lead America into some sort of dictatorship, a fascist dictatorship, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of my friends had brought that up to me, and I just go, oh, I'm hopeful that we're gonna win and not that.
Well, this is
So,
certainly the moment
I
where we
am
decide,
every,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask you guys if there is one thing that an ally can do today to help the movement. What can they do? I'll start with you, Jackie. Well, I think you've been I think you've been a model for an ally. And so I think people should definitely be looking towards you if they're looking for that. So yeah, what's sort of
I'm a
your,
minority ally.
yeah,
Just kidding.
yeah. No, but you are. And, I think there are
No,
differences and similarities. And I think it's important, though, that even as minorities, we all are sticking together on this and that we see each other too.
for me, I think what everyone can do to be a better ally is to truly educate yourself, right? Is to, I'm reading, I've read so many things, I'm rereading new things, I'm having very difficult conversations with my friends and family, and most of all, I'm donating. So I'm not just talking some shit right here, I'm actually putting money that I don't even have, to the cause, and encouraging my followers to donate. And a lot of people love the showmanship of donation, so I'm like, show me your donation and I'll repost you, right?
Yeah.
If that's going to be the catalyst to get you to donate, show me and I'll raise the roof for you, all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you're in this fight, you feel like, I'm exhausted and these conversations I have are just to the wall, no one cares. But my mom just told me before I got on this call that she was talking to one of my aunts who is very racist, and she thinks she's better than everyone because she has a white boyfriend, and she was saying some shit, and my mom goes, no, these need to happen for human rights or else it's going to continue again, and that's why these protests needs to happen. And my aunt went, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And my mom just wrote back, LOL. And she told me, and I went, my God, the little seed that I planted, like, is sprouting,
Mhm.
that she's able to stand up for what's going on to other relatives. And I feel like if I can mobilize my community of first generation kids to have these conversations and stuff, that's the best thing you can do. And also, whenever I talk to all my Black friends, just listen, and don't ask them to help you and tell you that you're not a racist and to validate what you're doing. Just listen.
Love that. Carrie?
I've always been an advocate of the Black dollar, so I think that everybody needs to spend their money with us, support Black-owned businesses, buy local. Our power is really in economics, and so I don't think it's going to be enough for Black people to shop Black, but non-Black people need to shop Black.
I love that. And that's been a message I think that's been lost. It's always, Black people buy Black. No, everyone should buy Black and support the community. I love that. Obi Ageliaco.
I'm just say, I love what both of you said, and definitely, and then just put into action more what their intentions are. Don't just do something for social media. Don't just say that I took pictures. As a matter of fact, I mean, there are the people out there taking pictures, protesting. Just go and protest. Just do that. Don't do things that are seen as superficial. Actually take into account that we need every bit and piece of you, and that you're effective. You're effective.
Doing something to help that you don't post might actually change you more. So maybe
Yeah.
take that route, right? I want to thank you guys so much for joining me again. This was an incredible conversation. We got to continue this conversation. So much more to go because we are just at the beginning of what I think could be a movement that starts to really change the way this racism goes in this country. So, Jackie, I want to know, where can they find you online?
You can find me at Jackie Fern on Instagram and on TikTok. That's where I'm most active.
Nice, Kaori.
And that's Kaori Mix Studios with an S at the end on Instagram.
Obigeliaku.
I am BOA, which is IAMTHEOA on Instagram, as well as Soul Sessions Official on Instagram.
Nice. And you guys can find me at Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong, and we will see you guys next week.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.